in terms of the important item is that we have our decision, or sorry, it is not a decision, it is an objective that we want to maximize. This objective has two chance variables, something which is not in our control. This chance variable is dependent on another chance variable, which is a variable cost, because there is the general variable that is a deterministic function that is going to tell me the deliverable that we are going to do is fixed cost. That is there. Okay, it's a fixed cost whether you run the facility or you don't run the facility. Equipment cost, lease cost, interest cost, rent cost, your salaries. This is a fixed cost whether you run the office or you don't run the office. Understood? This is there, you cannot control. So but this is variable cost, is a chance variable, we don't know. In the variable cost, this is again, you have something which you have a control over. It is a deterministic quantity that you know whatever you will see, whatever you will create. So you might have create what? 100. If you have created 100 units, this will always remain 1000, whether you create 100 unit or you create 1000 units. Make sense? In this, you have another chance variable, which is a quantity sold. Quantity sold is direct impact of what? Market condition. And I mean, I can create market condition, your repo, branding stuff. I mean, these all are again chance variables. But there is one thing which you don't have a control on: market condition. You don't have a control on the market pricing. You don't have a control on the repo. But this is one thing that you have a control: price. So in a very, very simple, you can see with the decision on the price, you can actually play all this and look and see how your outcome is changing. If you make the price very high, your revenues might go high, but then your quantities, you see the chance variable, how they are moving. Your quantities might go low, and because your quantities are going low, your variable cost will go low, because you will make the less units. So this is how your all influence diagram is showing the overall result without getting into the numbers of decision tree. I hope I am able to explain this. Am I?
Yep, it makes sense to me.
Yes, Mr. Noman.
Sir, my unit cost is depend on the variable cost.
No, my variable cost depend on the unit cost.
And what about the fixed cost?
What about the
fixed cost?
It is not depending on anything. Your rent, is it depend on anything? Your lease cost, it is dependent on anything?
Yes.
Your salaries, is it dependent on anything?
No.
Then, but your electricity, your tea, coffee, your raw material, it's a unit cost, variable cost based on the number of units you create. Yes, sir.
Clear now.
Okay. So let's move forward. So that's a good thing that we have done. We have updated the slide.
In the book they just give on definition. That's it. They didn't give the example for.
I actually in my first session I also gave the definition, and then everybody asked me that what is the example, and I searched many examples because it, and I found many confusing examples. Then I found one very simple example for the understanding. Again, so this is not related to the PMP, but it is how the things are influenced within a project. So maybe once in a day, maybe sometime later, I might come up with any project management example. But this is the risk. This is, we are looking into the risk. Okay. So this is the risk. This is the important thing is the only decision making item. The only decision making item that I have is the price, and everything else is going to play with it. So let's move forward. Where is it? The next is make or buy analysis, something that we would like to know whether we should make it or we should buy it. Ideally, from the beginning of the situation, you have an idea that what kind of things you make and what kind of things you buy. So organization needs to, but this is where we are actually taking decisions. Sometimes you might take a decision that although we have not been doing it before, but we need to do it again, but we need to start doing it, maybe because so why are you going outside? You need to know your current resource allocation is not there. You don't have the skills, you don't have the abilities, you need some specialized expertise. You do not want to get into the permanent employment obligations, and there is an independent expertise available, so you don't want to do it in your house and something that is not your case. Make or buy analysis is one of the most important tool and technique of the plant procurement management process. It basically means figuring out whether you should be contracting the work or doing it yourself. The make decision is based on if it is less costly, making insight, it is easy to fit and integrated with the current systems, available suppliers are unreliable or unable to serve, utilize existing resources that have the bandwidth available and they are not utilized in the current processes, maintain control over the solution, maintain the confidentiality, maintain the know-how, and you are keeping the privacy. Buy decisions sometimes are done as less costly. What happens is that your make decision is less costly, but it is again, I'm using the word costly. It do not take it as a dollar value. Okay. And everybody knows whenever you go out, it costs you more in terms of a dollar value. But it is less costly because you don't have to do project management. You don't have to do a requirement analysis. You don't have to maintain the resources. You don't have to do the post go live support. You don't have the system for it. So yes, obviously in terms of looking, it looks the outside going is more costly in terms of dollar value, but definitely it is not what you are looking at. You are looking at the overall total cost of ownership. What is the total cost of ownership if we do it in-house and if we send it outside? So make or buy decision analysis is use the payback period or return on investment, return on internal rate of return, discounted cash flows, net present values, benefit cost analysis, or any other technique to decide whether to include something as part of the project or purchase it externally. Reason to buy, we have already talked. If a buy decision is made, need a further decision of whether purchase or rent is also made. So this is something else. So we need a forklift. Forklift is, so if you rent the forklift for 10 months, the cost of the buying is equal. So do you require a 10-month forklift for 10 months, and then do you have a need for this for the later stage, or because then you have to keep it. You have a requirement of the forklift for 10 months, but then there is no need of use. Then there is nothing outside. Then you might not able to sell it, or whatever be the situation. You would like to rent it. So it's a decision that you have to make. Yes, we are going to buy, but that buy has two options: purchase and rent. Going out, so we need to see, it's one of the example that let's take in here. So we have a project and cost is 1,500 to buy and $500 per month to maintain. 1,500 to 15,000 to buy and $500 per month to maintain. Remember the total cost of ownership. We just don't buy things. We get the petrol, we do the maintenance of the car, we have the cleaner and all these things. Or to lease the equipment and $2,500 and there is a of down payment and $1,500 at the monthly lease. So what is better? So we say, so this is then the equipment, how long it will take to break even. We need to take a decision. So in case we would like to buy it, it is better we buy if the usage is more than 12.5 months. Because that is the point where your lease and buying is equal, and after that your lease might be taking more because then you have only a $500 per month to maintain. So this is the make or buy analysis. Strategic, in-house expertise, availability, direct and indirect cost, third-party risk, legal consideration. So it's a decision you will take. The next is a regression analysis. Anybody remember the regression analysis from their matric or FS university classes?
Yes, but not like details. I remember learning it.
Yes, we have done it something like this in India. That is more than enough. So regression analysis is the interrelationship between two variables. We would like to see what is the relationship of it. It's a negative relationship. It's a positive relationship. So we are trying to see if we keep improving. So take an example of your bank investments. If you know and you have seen that if you have a 3 months fixed deposit, the difference, the returns are different. If you have a 6 month bank deposit, returns are different. If you have 1 year bank deposit, returns are different. So this is a positive relationship. Okay. Then if you might, so there might be something which has a negative relationship. So we would like to know what is kind of a relationship that we are looking at in terms of two variables. Then this could be any two variable. So B is a slope, which is a positive and negative. And that is very important that your X is an independent variable. Your investment is your period is independent, or your values are this. So we have three kinds of relationships. It is determine how strongly related one dependent variable is to the series of other changing variables. We usually refer as independent variables. So now we want to see if so this is one example that I have taken from somewhere, and obviously it is there. So if households are going up, your foreclosures are also going up. It's a very strong relationship. If the percentage of college education is going down, your unemployment rate will also keep on increasing. If your percentage of college educated is going down, your unemployment rate will keep on increasing. So it's a negative relationship that the percentage of college education is going up and unemployment is, but this is your independent variable. So what we are looking at, that if your unemployment rates are going down or up, sorry, if your unemployment rates are going less and less, your percentage of college education become less and less. And there is no relationships in terms of two variables. We can see it's hardly anything is moving. So we have a positive relationship, we have a negative relationship, strong, negative. So this is strong. So it could be something like this. It could be something, it is always a straight line. That is very important. B is a slope. So we are not looking something like this. We are not looking something like this. Okay. So what we are looking at is very importantly, the relationship. So if you have multiple pointers here and there, it does not mean that this is, so it will always, a relationship will remain like this. The next is sensitivity analysis. What is a sensitivity analysis? So sensitivity analysis is, if I change one variable, what will happen to what will happen to other tasks on the project. It's determine which risk have the most potential impact on the project. Because yes, every risk has an impact. We have done our EMB and we realize the impact is bigger, but we would like to know what is the biggest impact. So in terms of the impact of the risk for a probability and this, it is fine, but what is the total risk value? So there is a various types of methods that we are going to use. One is called a tornado diagram, which is a coefficient of each element of quantitative risk analysis. So it says that if there is a variable, so take an example. So it's an example. What is this example? It is saying that this is the sales volume that we are going to sell. That if we keep our price $3 and our cost at $0.5, we will able to sell 25 million in terms of volume. But if we keep our cost 0.1 and we were going to price at 1.5, we will able to do a 23 million factor sales. Okay. And if we keep it 0.9 and the what we are saying, we are going to create these numbers. So if price is 4 and our cost is 0.9, then we will able to sell 27 millions. Now what we are going to do in terms of a tornado diagram, we are trying to see if this is normal, if we change the factor. So let me see if I can go to the, close this. If I have the Excel sheet for this. No, why? Why I don't have the Excel sheet for it? I should have the Excel sheet for it. Sorry. 1 second. I should have the Excel sheet for it. Maybe it is not showing the. I do remember it does not show the Excel sheet there. Where is the data, chart design, select, edit the data, edit data and Excel sheet. Open. No. So no, it does not have the Excel sheet as an Excel sheet attached to it. Oh, so okay, coming back to it. So what we are looking at, that if our cost, which is if we keep our cost, I know it. So if we keep our cost in the same, this is what is going to happen. But if we change any variable in between from 1 point, so 2 variables will remain same, and we are going to see how if we only change the price. So if we only change the price and the 2 variables remain same, that is your first one. Your volume is moving from 58 negative to 67 to what is this value? It's 988 positive in terms if we move our prices from 1.5 to 4. Is it making any sense?